Give me your Jeep. My son deserves it. That's literally what she said right there in broad daylight, slapping some fake emergency sticker on my windshield like she owned the glass, not to mention my whole driveway. I was just out there washing my Jeep, minding my own business, and somehow suddenly I'm the bad guy. She actually called 911 on me as if I was breaking some imaginary law, and let me tell you, nothing will shake your sense of reality faster than your own neighbors watching you kind of nodding along, like maybe you are the trouble. You ever have that moment where the whole world tilts and you wonder, am I losing my mind here? Yeah, that happened. Name's Nate. I train boxers down at the community center. Nothing fancy, just keeping kids off the street, you know? I'd been washing my Jeep on a lazy Saturday, soap suds rolling down the black paint, sun warm on my back when the neighborhood loudspeaker crackled to life. Evacuation drill 4:00 p.m. All residents report to the assembly point. That was new. 3 years in this place, and I'd never heard of an evacuation drill. Then Brenda Pierce appeared. The HOA president, always done up like she's running for Congress, crisp blazer hair sprayed stiff enough to bounce a quarter. And beside her, Trevor, her 20-year-old son, decked out in a brand new hard hat and a homemade evacuation captain badge like he'd wandered off the set of a low-budget cop show. Trevor had a clipboard full of what looked like important documents, but if you look close, the official forms were just internet templates, half the words misspelled. Neighbors were half laughing, half watching, some pretending to water their plants while filming the whole thing on their phones, one kid across the street shouting, "Discount Rescue Patrol," like it was open mic night. Brenda walks straight up, points at my Jeep and says, "Emergency access authorization," like she's about to confiscate evidence, then slaps a sticker on my windshield. "Trevor needs reliable convoy vehicles for community safety leadership." She says, no irony, no shame. I laughed at first thinking it had to be a joke, but Brenda's smile just got tighter. That sort of politician smile that never reaches her eyes. She starts talking about temporary requisitioning for emergency preparedness, and suddenly the Jeep I worked 2 jobs to pay for is apparently up for grabs because it projects the right image. That phrase, right image, hit me like a punch to the gut. This wasn't about safety. This was about putting on a show. My Jeep was just the latest prop in Brenda's campaign to make this neighborhood look how she wanted. I peeled that sticker off my windshield, left a glue smear, but I got most of it. "Ma'am, this is my vehicle. I'm not lending it to anyone." Brenda didn't miss a beat, pulled out her phone, started dialing 911 before I could even finish. "Yes, I need to report a resident defying emergency safety orders." She was speaking so loud half the block heard. I watched my neighbors come out to see the spectacle, some whispering, some just staring. I'll admit she made it sound convincing. He's interfering with official evacuation protocols threatening community safety. All the official words, none of them true. For a second, I actually wondered, am I the crazy one? Right then, Deputy Mark Lewis rolled up. "Steady guy, doesn't rattle easy." He checked my registration, my license, insurance, everything legal. Then he looked Brenda dead in the eye and said, "Ma'am, can you show me the legal authority that allows the HOA to requisition private vehicles?" Brenda fumbled through her binder, muttering about community cooperation, but Mark just shook his head. "Ma'am, HOA has no authority over private vehicles, drill or not. The county can recommend, but you can't take someone's car." Trevor looked like someone popped his balloon, standing there with a whole stack of those fake stickers, not knowing where to look. Brenda tried one last time, showed Mark her community safety guidelines, which turned out to be templates she'd downloaded from the web. Mark pointed out the missing seals, fake signatures, told her, "This isn't worth the paper it's printed on." Watching Brenda's confidence crumble was almost satisfying, almost. But when the crowd drifted away and Brenda and Trevor slunk back to their house, my hands were still shaking. That's when things got weird. Next to the mailboxes was a new white kiosk sign said, "Free key battery replacement community service." Maybe before I wouldn't have thought twice, but after what happened, I was suspicious. I checked the kiosk, saw slots for car keys and a digital display labeled HOA Safety Committee. When I scanned the QR code, it just led to some generic community services website. The whole thing reeked of more fake authority. Then, just as I was thinking I should move on, my phone buzzed a text from an unknown number. "Someone's in your car." I looked up and saw a shadow moving inside my Jeep. I ran, but whoever it was slipped away before I could catch them. The doors were locked, nothing missing, but the seat was moved and there was a perfume scent I'd never smelled before. When I checked my phone again, the message had disappeared. I barely slept that night. Next morning, the HOA newsletter showed up under my door headline, "Community Cooperation During Emergency Preparedness: Why Some Residents Resist Helping Neighbors." You guessed it, me. The article didn't name names, but it painted me as reckless, unwilling to contribute to neighborhood safety. There was even a sidebar on vehicle standards for emergency response, talking up the importance of the right image for leadership roles. They never said Jeep, but you know exactly what they meant. Suddenly, neighbors I'd joked with were ducking their heads or avoiding me in the store. That free battery kiosk, people were lining up, whispering, handing over keys, coming away with flyers. It wasn't a service, it was recruitment. I watched one night as neighbors clustered there waiting for updates, sharing rumors about non-cooperative residents. I tried escaping to a coffee shop, but two women from the HOA sat behind me gossiping. What if it was a real emergency? Some people just don't get community responsibility. They were talking about me, not even trying to hide it. I called Deputy Mark for advice. He said to document everything: photos, video, keep records. Sometimes these disputes escalate, he warned. I got my answer the next day when Trevor posted a picture online dressed in his hard hat, radio clipped to his belt, captioned, "Reliable families lead in emergencies. The right vehicles matter for community safety." The comments piled on preparedness means picking the leadership image neighbors respect. It wasn't about my Jeep anymore. It was about me not fitting their picture of what belonged. Then something changed. 3 neighbors approached me by the mailboxes. Nervous, glancing around, "We wanted to apologize," one said. "We're getting the same pressure from Brenda. Different reasons, but the same tactics." One was a single mom accused of not reflecting community values. Another was an older man targeted for his garden, and a young couple told their friends visited too often. They showed me screenshots. Brenda was keeping lists, tracking families, sending threats, pushing anyone who didn't fit her mold to either comply or leave. "Your name's been on her list since you moved in," the single mom whispered. That night, I heard a car door close outside. When I checked my mailbox the next morning, there was a credit card bill for someone I'd never met, hidden under my mail. Someone was using my address for illegal forwarding. Right after 3 official HOA violation notices appeared on my door, each with bogus fines made up infractions like improper vehicle positioning and failure to maintain community cooperation standards. They even cited my Jeep for being 14 inches over the driveway line. Parking enforcement got suspiciously strict around my house, with tickets for imaginary violations handed out by a parking officer whose badge didn't match any county department. When the HOA scheduled a mandatory property assessment, I called Mark again. "They're escalating. Don't let them in without a real warrant," he said. Sure enough, Brenda and her team showed up, clipboards, cameras, and Trevor with his fake inspector badge. "You're not coming into my house," I told them. I started recording and asked them for their credentials. Suddenly, all that confidence vanished. The certified assessors admitted they were just neighbors, not trained officials. Brenda's explanations got more tangled, and for the first time, a few neighbors watching started asking, "Wait, what gives you the right to do this?" The spell was breaking. But the next day I got an email, photos of my property from inside my backyard, taken without my permission from inside my garbage cans and over my fence. Someone was surveilling me, building a file, preparing to take this to the next level. That evening, my Jeep's engine roared to life while I was in my kitchen. Through the window, I watched Trevor driving my Jeep out of the driveway. My keys were on the counter. He must have cloned my key code at the kiosk. I ran outside too late. This time I called Mark direct. "My Jeep just got stolen. HOA president's son took it." The response was swift. Detectives, officers, neighbors, all gathering, the whole thing going viral as I live streamed it. Detective Rodriguez from the auto theft unit took my statement. Neighbors brought out evidence, Brenda's lists, surveillance photos, stories of their own harassment. The fake battery kiosk was exposed as a code copier for stealing cars. Turns out Brenda had been running an operation bigger than any of us imagined, targeting anyone who didn't fit her vision. The police swarmed the neighborhood assembly point where Trevor was staging a fake emergency convoy using my Jeep as his parade float. Law enforcement surrounded the area, and suddenly real authority FBI Sheriff Brooks federal agents stepped in. What they uncovered was staggering: an 18-month campaign of discrimination targeting single parents, minorities, anyone different, all under the guise of community improvement. Fake fines, illegal surveillance, financial fraud, organized intimidation. Brenda was part of a network spanning 3 states. My Jeep was just the latest casualty. Brenda was led away in cuffs, Trevor in the back of a squad car. The fake authority badges and bogus paperwork all logged as evidence. The FBI presented spreadsheets, Brenda's actual priority list, with families labeled as relocation targets, intervention timelines, and property value calculations for who they wanted gone. It was discrimination, pure and simple, motivated by money, fear, and a warped sense of community. But here's the part that sticks with me. When it was over, the feds dissolved the HOA and replaced it with a resident-run group under federal supervision. Brenda had to pay real restitution. Trevor got community service working with families affected by discrimination. Suddenly, the neighbors who'd been silent before stepped forward, sharing their stories, apologizing, building something new out of all that hurt. My Jeep came home scanned, cleared, evidence stickers peeled off. We stripped the last fake sticker off together, neighbors cheering, kids playing. The new association runs on transparency, fair housing rules, open meetings, real democracy. People who used to duck their heads now plan cookouts together. The old suspicion and fear, gone. Property values actually rose. Turns out belonging beats exclusion every time. So if you've ever dealt with fake authority or been told you don't fit, document everything. Find your people. Stand your ground. Because ordinary folks, organized and unafraid, can build something stronger than any scheme designed to push them out. And trust me, when the truth finally comes out, it's worth every second. Tell me your story in the comments. Have you ever had to fight back against this kind of injustice? Do you think communities can really change, or do the same problems just come back in new disguises? If this hit home, tap that thanks button, share your thoughts below. Stay sharp. Protect your space and never let anyone tell you that you don't belong.